Hi, Carolina. So I have put together all of the objectives and the outcomes for grades 1 through 6, and I have mapped them out according to A1.1 all the way to A2.2 by uh, if you want to call them language skills or language domains. If you can see down here at the bottom, I have made tabs for the different levels. So level 1 through 3 is going to be A1.1 all the way through. I've also included language forms so that um, the asesores and whoever else is working with the curriculum can know exactly which language forms are going to be worked at which grade level. As you can see here in a different color in yellow, I have A1.2, and that would correspond then to grade 4. And so here are the language skills and language forms for grade 4. Now, the language forms, I've made them for 4th and 5th so that there can be a bridge to the next grade. Okay? Those would be just the language forms. And then, let me go ahead and move a little more here. For 5th grade then, I have the skills, the objectives, and the outcomes. And I start each grade at the listening tab with an overall picture of what the students can do at that level. So if you can see here for grade 6, we have the same thing going on here. Okay. Now, something you might have already noticed, well, let me just go ahead and show you this. Speaking, reading, writing, and again, for the language forms, I put them for 6th and 7th grade. So again, there's a bridge for tercer ciclo. Okay. I have also put in, I'll make this a little bit bigger here. I've also put in some columns here so that as the asesores are building up their units, they can place what unit is going to be working with which objective. So I'll show you over here at the very beginning. Listening. Over here for the family unit that I started, I'm going to be using these objectives in grade 1. All right. So that's what I have here with the objectives and the outcomes. The language might need to be tweaked. This is a first draft. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you. And then I have put together another matrix for grades 1 all the way to grade 6 per unit. So this would be for the unit on family. Instead of writing the titles that have been used in the past, I made the titles be an essential question. And so across the top you can see those essential questions. Now, essential questions, again, are aimed at raising levels of thinking to higher level thinking. And I started with those, and then through talking about the topic and reading stories and chanting songs and that sort of thing, hopefully the students will then be able to process it at a higher level and come out with, derive a what's called an enduring understanding. So these are the enduring understandings that I'm thinking would be a natural outcome to the essential question. Below the essential question, then, I start putting in the objectives that are listed here and then matched to the outcomes. All right. I mapped out one of the outcomes for listening so that the asesores can see how that particular type of outcome looks different in grade 1 all the way through grade 6. So I'll leave you to read that on your own. And then I started mapping out things for Unit 2 and then Unit 3. Well, not Unit, but Grade 2 and Grade 3. I've mapped out the family unit for Grade 1 this way. And I also put in the language functions for each grade. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just move that a little bit this way so it's easier to see everything. And then matched to the language functions, I've put together these sentence frames. So here's, for example, on this one, there's one language function and then a second language function. Not all of them will have two language functions, but this one does, and which I thought would be a natural outcome. So for this one, describe family members, I put together a sentence frame, would be the output that we would expect the students to give. And they could just give one word, and if necessary, the teacher can write it for them. So at this stage, grades 1 through 3, it's expected that any writing that is done on the part of the teacher, and the student would just provide one word if necessary, or point to the word. So here's an example of what would be in the sentence frame, and the same is true here. Okay, and then I looked at language forms, what would be natural forms that would be used during that part of the unit on grade 1, and I put those here. And then again, the enduring understandings. And then I started putting in some pedagogic mediation here for what I'm assuming it would be a 4-week unit. So this would be the sequence per week. And then I would ask that if there are more than 3 times a week that the students are meeting, then we would include more mini lessons. And then on week 4, there would be a consolidation using the sentence frame. Now, I also started compiling a few materials, at least sample materials, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So I've hyperlinked it, and it's in a unit materials, and then I put it by grades, and then these would be for the mini lessons of vocabulary and some of the language form practice that would be there. And then for family, I did a lot of searching most of yesterday looking for just the right books, and I have to tell you it was quite challenging trying to find free material that would be at the right language level, and that's, I think, a conversation that we need to have, because the levels need to be accessible for the students so that the language can be a model for the students to use, as well as a meaningful event on which the students can attach all the language that they're learning. So, for example, for family grade 1, I looked at Learning A to Z, and I found this as the level that I think would be the level that we could use for grade 1. You'll see that there is just 2 words, highly patterned, with a lot of visual support, easy to understand. And we know the kids are not reading, but at least they can be exposed to the words. Okay. Now, this is different than, for example, if we're looking at grade 5, and let's see if I can find a better one here. Here we go. I'll go ahead and open it a little bit bigger for you. It's put together so that the kids can fold it and make a little book for themselves. So a little bit upside down, but I think you'll be able to see the difference in the level. And the kids can also use some of these materials where they can write. This would be 5th grade, so they can write 3 words and then draw a picture to create their own book. And this is a difference in the level. Can you help clean the house? It's a full sentence, 2 sentences, but still very highly patterned with a lot of visual support, so that the kids can participate in a read aloud. I'll show you here. They can participate in a accessing prior knowledge, story introduction, read aloud, do some vocabulary work, and then an echo read. Second day, they choral read, do a mini lesson on a language form or some vocabulary, independent practice. Here they're doing a shared reading. So not only are they've already practiced reading along with the teacher, but here they're sort of doing some oral closes. The teacher might leave off a word and the kids could complete it. And they would work on their consolidation. And then again, on week 4, after they've done all of this, they can then put together a sentence frame after they've seen 2 or 3 songs and stories over the 4 weeks in which they've been working on that unit. So this is what I've come up with so far. One last comment, however, is that these materials are, I'm putting in samples of the materials, and I suggest then that since these are copywritten, that we somehow get these materials made for a Costa Rican context, but these are models on which people could, even if the asesores want to write the actual words that would be in a book, there could be some sort of contest so that people can actually make the drawings that would go for each book. And then I don't know if that could be done on a regional level, city level, something like that. And then that would generate a lot more interest for the English curriculum on the part of the public. And it would also help people realize that they can help writing things that are on a more accessible level, or they can each read things that are more on an accessible level. So I can download the samples of the different kinds of language that should be at each grade level when they're looking at books. And then we could go ahead and create or have someone create materials, even volunteers, Peace Corps volunteers or other kinds of volunteers that come to the country that are looking for things to do. This would be a really good task, as well as even university students. So I thought I would leave you with that idea, and I look forward to seeing you later on. Bye-bye.